All the content contained in this webcast is for informational purposes only. The investments and strategies contained in this webcast may not be suitable for you. Please consult your own independent financial advisor before making any investment or trading decisions. Well, Dennis, we're just about back where we were yesterday morning, except we had one rip-roaring rally off some government-induced numbers. The rally didn't hold, and lo and behold, we're almost back at the low of the day from yesterday.
We really are. Just had the ADP report come out. It's knocked another 3 points off the S&P futures there. So we're down 7 here, Joel. Looking like it's going to be a little bit of a weaker day.
Yeah, we talked about gaps yesterday, Dennis, and even though that wasn't a gap in the market, the straight-up move that we had by those government numbers, a lot of times the market will come back and validate that area. That's certainly what we're doing now, but what about your Apple there, Dennis? Couldn't even get up to 600 yesterday and then gave it all back. Is now trading down on the day.
You know, it was one I thought it could have a weak day overall. I actually did short it at the open. It fell 4 points immediately, but then bounced and bounced. I actually scratched the trade. I just didn't like the pricing action right off the hop. It basically hit that low and just started going straight up. I was lucky to scratch it because the stock got up, Joel, and really had that run there yesterday. I'll just bring up the chart for our viewers there. It basically ran all the way up into that whole 597 area, so heck of a run, but then gave it all back in the afternoon. Is trading down here again today, so stock is still weak, but there was a heck of a shakeout there.
Yeah, let's keep an eye on 583.24. That's been the high in the pre-market. The close at 582.13. That's a crucial area for Apple to get back above and hold. Coming back on the downside, looking at support, Dennis, there's really nothing there until you fill the gap down at 567.69. Can you believe it after those stellar earnings, the huge up day? And there's just been absolutely no follow through.
It keeps finding buyers, though, like intraday, so you just got to be somewhat careful with the shorts like yesterday. Like, I think the trend still is down, but the shakeouts there are vicious if you're short the issue. So, still tricky to short. I guess you sell the rallies maybe in this thing. Until it gets over 600, I'm still going to be bearish the stock.
Okay, MasterCard is charging lower here due to earnings.
MasterCard's down here pretty good now, Joel. This stock was trading 467, 468 before the report. It was actually making new 52-week highs in the pre-market. Reported, spiked all the way down to 430 on the report, which is a crazy spike down. I think that was overdone. Then it started to find some trading range, 450, but now is drifting down. So I often like to look at where those initially spiked down to in that 330, and there was no or 430. There was no volume on it, but it still can be a reference point because some people jot that down during the day. But if you look at the chart here, this whole 420 area, we had a low back there just towards the middle of April of 420.75. So, and the area we really broke out from was this whole 440. So it starts to get a little thicker. I think you got pretty much air until 440, but after that, it's kind of a guessing game as where it's going to stop.
Yeah, I hit 440.02 in the pre-market on that spike, Dennis. You did have the old 431.74. That's been the low back on April 25th. 444.49 was low on April 26th, the next day. That's where we're trading at in the pre-market. I would use that as a swing number. But really, Dennis, there's really no good support in this thing until you get to this 431.74 area.
And I think the spike down was actually 430, Joel. I was actually watching it. This 400,
really?
500 shares trade at 430 just for a blip of a second. So I've got it on my other software too, and I actually had it on my screen. Just 400 shares though, so it wasn't like it was a lot of stock that traded down there. But there was a 430 low.
Is there any follow through with Visa?
Well, Visa reports after the bell, so it is having a little bit of a sympathy move here. It's down $3 in the pre-market. Remember that they do report after the bell, so that's where the real movement's going to happen in Visa. If you look at the chart here, you could argue a double bottom from beginning of April. We had a 616.74, and then towards the little later on, 2 weeks later, 616.48. So that's an area where you might find some decent support on this stock. I don't really know if I see much until those points, Joel.
Okay, CBS reported good earnings.
Yeah, CBS did report good earnings here, Joel. The stock actually is spiking in the pre-market on that report. Made a 52-week high just 3 sessions ago at 34.56. It's really consolidating a lot here in this whole 34.33 area. So I'd keep an eye on that high at 34.56 from 3 days ago. If it takes that out, maybe it can try to go make a run at the 35 level. But until it takes that out, maybe it's a selling opportunity. Lean on that 34.56 area. But this is a stock that's performed very well. It's had a heck of a run in the last 6 months. I can bring a further chart up for our viewers here, but we've basically been straight up since October, where we were down there at 17.99. So stock's almost doubled in the last 6 months. Been on a heck of a run here, Joel. What's your take?
34.48 is where it hit on the initial pop in the pre-market, and then someone seems to be settling in here at the 34.40 level with some stock. So keep an eye on that, as well as the 52-week high, Dennis. Longer-term holders of this stock wouldn't get worried until you take out this 33.15 area. 33.15 to 21 were 3 out of your 4 previous days lows, so you're resting on that double bottom there.
Chesapeake Energy, CHK. Here's a chart here for you, Joel. Yesterday, they announced that the CEO is going to step down as the chairman. Still going to remain CEO, but not the chairman or something to that nature. Stock spikes enormously on that news. They haven't been liking Aubrey McLennan there. Stock spikes up yesterday to 20.63 on that news, up over $2. Now it's his earnings after the bell, gives the entire thing back. We're trading at 17.82. This is a stock that can't really seem to get anything right. I mean, obviously we've been straight down since the middle of March from this whole 26 area. I guess you keep an eye on these few lows here, Joel, that we had last month. 17.42. 1678 is the low that we had 3 days ago. That's a ways away from here. I think you'll find some support hopefully before that, but man, this chart is not pretty.
Yeah, we talk about gaps all the time and the validity of gaps. Or here's one where, just purely news of someone resigning, nothing related to earnings or anything, but purely just someone leaving the company. You get a spike on it, and then lo and behold, it's right back down. I do see that 1750 area. It looks like someone's been accumulating stock there in the pre-market as well. We've kind of stalled out on the break here at 1775. I think it's going to be pretty thick in this thing from under 1750 all the way down to that low. The low of the move so far at 1678. You also had a low on 1703 a few days before that. So I think things are going to thicken up here. Obviously, the last few times it's cracked under 18, it hasn't stayed under there very long.
Right. So now moving CMCSA, which is Comcast, Joel. That's stocks get down at $1.28 here in the pre-market. It's not having a pretty morning here either. It was trading higher on the initial report there, Joel. Maybe you can find the after hours or the pre-market high for our listeners, but has turned for the worse. Is trading down 29.30 right now. I'm looking. There was a low there from mid-April, 28.85. That may be where it's heading. What's your take?
Oh my gosh, we got up to $32, Dennis.
It got up to 32. You see, after these earnings reports, sometimes it gets thinner, right as it goes to report. And some people just get excited and they'll go and they'll grab, it's a great report, and they start grabbing, offers that are a lot higher before it really settles down. I would never suggest doing that. Wait till the action settles down a bit so you get a feel for where this stock's going, because if you're grabbing things, right after they report, you can get some really bad prices.
Well, Dennis, you can also use it too to exit positions as well. If you have an exit point, like if you had your number, above 31 in this thing. I mean, this thing hit a new all-time high yesterday at 30.88. You can use it to exit positions, but it's come straight down off that 32 number, getting a little bounce here off 29.30. Seems like someone is definitely sticking some bids out here. It's kind of stemmed the bleeding so far. You do have some lows down here at 29.38, 29.13, and then just under 29 at 28.85. It's a pretty big move for this stock. It has traded some decent volume, but look for some good support at the $29 level, and 30.50 has been the high on any kind of rebounds.
CVS Caremark reported earnings here this morning too. 45.94 this is trading right now. The high there of the whole move from back in March is 45.88, so we are right there, right at that number. I'd imagine that might give you some initial resistance off the hop. Call this whole area 40 to 46 major resistance. If we start taking out that 46 area, I'd probably get a little more bullish. But in this area, it almost looks like you could try a low risk short, maybe leaning on that 46 area. I'd imagine some of your high frequency traders might be doing that as well.
Is there any size of 46?
I don't see it right now. There's so many other levels. I can't see that far. They only show you the top 15 levels. So I don't see it right now. But I just almost think there's got to be.
Okay. If not, you will be. 46, 41 spiked up there in the pre-market. I have to agree with you here, Dennis. Also, I'd kind of be leaning that way with a negative market here. Use that 45.88. It's been the high of the move all the way up to 46. I believe that might be an all-time high here for CVS as well. So keep an eye on that $46 level. If it's going to break out and go against the trend of this market, then there's really no stopping it. But 46 should be a good swing number.
We got a lot of weakness overseas in the European banks here again, Joel, and I just want to bring them up. Deutsche Bank is trading down almost $2 here. I've got ING trading down significantly. STD, which is this Banco Santander over there in Spain, it's at 5.98 right now, which is making a new low on the move in the pre-market. They've obviously got a few problems still over there in Europe. I know, we've been saying, it's starting to get to the point where we're decoupled a bit from it, but it's got to put some weakness on the overall market when you see these things starting to make new lows on the move again here, Joel.
You said that, and Bob Pisani said
that. I didn't really said it either.
I never said
I know.
That. Don't be saying I said that. That's the stupidest thing ever.
So you're saying we're not decoupled at all?
Yeah, I just don't see how it. But 42 was a big level here in the Deutsche Bank, Dennis. That's been holding in there for 41.85 was the low back in mid-January. Below that, you have a gap to fill, but it's hard when they're trading the primary over in another exchange. But this just looks like it's about ready to give way, and this thing go back to 34.
Yeah, I think these European bank stocks are starting to get in a world of hurt, and that could definitely put some weakness in our financial sector here today as well. So you want to be aware of what's happening overseas. I'd keep those on my screen, those European banks, just even as indicators here this morning. Really?
I just want to add, I'm just looking at this Deutsche Bank chart here, Dennis, and you had this move from what, 30? You had the low in October at 34. You got up to 52, over 52. Basically a 19-point move. Here you are back just about halfway. I mean, this is almost a picture of a chart that you don't want to be long.
Yeah, looking at it here, Joel, just the weeklies, you can see the whole head and shoulders thing happening here too, where we consolidated there. Make the run up in the head here up in the 52 area. Now the right shoulder has formed here. We start to break down from here. You're right, it's not a pretty chart from a technical. If you like those patterns, that's not a pattern to like if you're long.
Okay, I'm sorry, what you were commenting on the overall market?
Yeah, I was just going to say we are down 6 here, Joel, obviously after we had a heck of a rally yesterday, gave it back a lot of it in the afternoon, and now following through here and giving, pretty much the entire thing back with the pre-market move here this morning. Where do you think we're heading here, Joel? Are you bullish or bearish, or what's your take?
I'm always the opposite here, so of course we're down. Going to keep a real close eye on this 1390 level, Dennis. You had Monday's low at 1389.75. You have Tuesday's low at 1391.25. We're still basically in the position squaring mode ahead of the unenjoyment number. I don't see us breaking down much below this 1390 area. If we do, we have some nice real estate down another 10 points, but just something tells me we're going to drift down, maybe Tesla go back slow, go down to that double bottom, and just kind of drift up and maybe close right here. How many times have you seen the SPOOs make this kind of move, trade all day, all over the place, and then end up just where it opened? So that's what I'm looking for. Got above 1,400 yesterday, couldn't hold. That's still the number to keep an eye on. And that's our show for today, and we'll be back with you tomorrow.